Hey everyone, it's Lexi. In today's video I'm going to show you all the books that I ended up reading in February. It actually was a very good reading month for me. I ended up reading 5 books, which is pretty unheard of for me. Usually I do like a book a week. So without further ado, let's get started. So the first book that I ended up reading this month was Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, and this is the illustrated edition that came out in October. And I haven't reread the Harry Potter books since I think grade 9, so that was about like 8 years ago. So it's been a long time. There's actually like a lot of things that I forgot. So yeah, like this, like the illustrated edition, it was just really well done, and I love the they're just really beautiful illustrations. So if you're a diehard Potter fan, then I'm sure you will definitely love this book. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars, obviously, so yeah. So the next book that I read was Codename Verity by Elizabeth Wein. And it's about two friends who and kind of their story throughout World War II. And this was a phenomenal book. It will definitely be probably in my top books of 2016. Like this will be the book that will always stay with me. It was so good. I loved how it was like reminded me a lot of The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna, and I liked it because it did show like the female perspective of war, which is something you don't really see a lot of. And it was just a great book about friendship and just all of that. Like even though like it is a YA book, like it blew me out of the water. Like I wasn't expecting that. I have a full review and discussion of this book that I'll link down below if you want to check it out. But overall I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. It was an amazing book, and if you haven't read it already, I highly recommend that you check it out. You will not be disappointed. So the next book that I read was Stars Above by Marissa Meyer, and this is a collection of 9 novellas about the Lunar Chronicles, and 8 of them are like kind of prequels to the Lunar Chronicles. They do discuss a lot of some of the things that are mentioned within the other books, but it kind of goes into more detail about it. And then we do get an epilogue to Winter. I also will have a review and discussion that I'll link down below if you want to check that out as well. But I was a little bit disappointed within this book. Like if you watch my video of like my review of this, you'll kind of see that I thought a lot of it was unnecessary. There are only a few novellas that I ended up liking, and then I was a little disappointed with the epilogue at the end, just because it was focused on 2 characters that I'm not really a fan of in this series, and you didn't really get to see kind of all the other characters in it as well. So yeah, I gave it 3.5 out of 5 stars. Like the novellas that I did enjoy, like I really liked, but other than that, I felt like a lot of it was unnecessary. This is just, I will throw this in here just because I got about 50 pages into Glass Sword by Victoria Aveyard, and like I was a little hesitant about the kind of this series overall, just because I was kind of in the middle of the road of Red Queen. But after getting about 50 pages in, I decided I wasn't really liking what I was reading. It was just very, very reminiscent of The Hunger Games. Like I just couldn't get it out of my head. Basically, like all these characters have like analogous counterparts to The Hunger Games, so I decided that I stopped reading that. I actually returned the book, so no money wasted, but I was a little disappointed in that, just the 50 pages in. I know this is kind of a series that did get a lot of mixed reviews, so I guess I'm kind of on the more negative side for this series. The next book that I ended up reading was The Martian by Andy Weir, and I'm sure you probably all have heard about this book, if not the movie. I'm kind of probably one of the few people that actually preferred the movie to this book. I feel like the movie did a good job of focusing on like the actual storyline, because I feel like I had a lot of problems with Mark Watney's narrative in here, just because it was just like information overflow, or like, and I enjoyed more of the narration for the Hermes crew and then people at NASA a lot better than Mark's kind of dialogue, like his log. So yeah, and like the last like 3/4 of the book were just boring. I think the only chapter, like I basically skipped chapters like 19 through 23 just because it was just like they didn't really need to be in the book. But I did enjoy the last chapter. I did, like, kind of having watched the movie first before I read this, I did notice that a lot of the parts that they included in the film were very basically identical to what was in the book, which I think was really well, and I think the movie did a better job of kind of taking all this excess information and just kind of making it short and sweet, but they did it in a very good way. So I only gave this book a 3.5 out of 5 stars. It's still a good book, but it was just a little too much for me. The last book that I read this month was Rose Under Fire by Elizabeth Wein, and this is kind of like a spin-off to Codename Verity. It kind of takes place a year after the events that in Codename Verity, but it involves a different character. It's about a girl named Rose who is a civilian pilot, like similar to what we see in Codename Verity. However, one day after she's flying over France, she gets captured by these German pilots, and she ends up getting sent to Ravensbrück, which was a women's concentration camp that the Nazis had, and it's just kind of her story of survival. I really like this. I was a little worried going into this book that it would not live up to my expectations that I had because of Codename Verity, but it's a completely different story, but it did not let me down. You get really attached to the characters in this book, and I felt like it was a lot more heartbreaking to read just because these events actually did take place. A lot of the stuff that they talk about in this novel I remember learning about in history classes. So yeah, I definitely enjoyed that they have one character from Codename Verity is also in here as well. She's not obviously a big character. She doesn't have a big part in this novel, but she still has a prevalent role in it, which I enjoyed as well. These two, Codename Verity and Rose Under Fire, have definitely become quick favorites of mine. And so I gave this one a 4.5 out of 5 stars. If you want to see kind of how more detail about what I thought about this novel, then I'll go check out the link in the description bar where you'll see my review and discussion. That's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below what you thought about some of these books and what books you think I should be checking out later down the road. So yeah, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys!